Colby Allen Doyle. Mr. Doyle, you are charged with compelling prostitution in someone under the age of 18 and trafficking a child. Are these warrant cases?
Your Honor, I do not have them as warrant cases.
Okay.
And I printed a second MOAB because I realized that the name was missing on the NCIC page.
Okay.
You should have been given that at the beginning of the docket. I'm still working on the MOAB for Garcia, just to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
The reportee stated that her 13-year-old sister, the complainant, was possibly being sex trafficked. The reportee stated she had received alarming text messages from the complainant, who had been missing for 9 days, asking to be rescued from a location she was being forced to prostitute. Officers arrived on scene, made contact with the defendant and the complainant, who were both inside of a parked vehicle in front of a house. Once the complainant was separated from the defendant, the complainant stated she was being forced to perform sex acts. Officers spoke with the complainant, who advised that she had run away from home and was picked up by another male who found her and recruited her for prostitution on the social media cell phone application Instagram. The complainant was forced to prostitute for this male for approximately 1 week. During this time, the defendant contacted her on the dating cell phone application called Plenty of Fish. The defendant posed as a friend or someone who just wanted to chill. The complainant thought this would be a perfect opportunity to escape her first trafficker, so she met with this defendant. When the complainant got into the defendant's vehicle, the defendant told her, I'm your pimp now, and, quote, you're going to hit some licks, end quote, which meant to her that she would have to prostitute for him now. The defendant took the complainant to a date where she engaged in sexual acts in exchange for $110. The complainant gave the money to the defendant and convinced her to bring her back to her first pimp, where all of her belongings were. The complainant stayed with her first pimp for the remainder of the week, approximately 4 days. The complainant continued to get assaulted by this pimp, and the defendant continued to pursue her as she left again to be with the defendant. The complainant advised the defendant picked her up on March 11th and took her to an area known for prostitution. The defendant introduced the complainant to his and his brother's prostitutes, which were working as prostitutes at that location. The complainant said the defendant provided her with a cell phone for her use for setting up dates with Johns. The complainant advised she was forced to have sex with a John that same night. The complainant stated the defendant made her send pictures of herself to a cell phone, which later used to be posted on Backpage.com, a website for soliciting sex. The complainant advised the defendant transported her to multiple residences to have sex with different Johns on March 12th from Pasadena, Humble, and other areas of Houston. The defendant would post advertisements online, set up her dates, transport her, then collect all of the money she made. The complainant said she was punched, choked on different occasions by the defendant when she refused to do something, or if she did not do something of his liking. The officer located several Backpage.com advertisements with the complainant's photo in them. The advertisements also had the defendant's cell phone number on them as the contact information.
What was the total time that the victim spent with this? I got the impression she was with one, then she comes with this. Mm-hmm. Is he related to that person? Because I heard his brother's prostitutes, and that's what confused.
All right, the brothers, that was when he got her the second time and took her and introduced her
to another
his
set.
brother, yes.
And his brother's in the same line of
business.
Mm. Okay. All right, Mr. Doyle, I'm finding probable cause for your arrest on both charges. Both of these are assigned to the 180th District Court, where you're going to see Judge Evans. Will you be hiring a lawyer or asking to be considered for a court-appointed lawyer?
Court-appointed at this time.
Yes, sir. Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you consented to Ms. Cantu representing you at the bail hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Cantu?
Your Honor, Mr. Doyle is only 19 years old, currently living with his grandfather in the Fresno area. He is currently enrolled at HCC getting his GED and also works with a grandfather doing some real estate work. We're asking that you set the bonds no higher than $30,000 each judge.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state is requesting a $50,000 bond on both cases and for the MOAB to be granted.
With regard to the MOAB, you said you were sending it to me a second time because it was missing information. The first one is missing information.
Yes, ma'am.
Is
It's
this?
That's the second one.
Okay, this is the second one. I wasn't sure. Okay.
the NCIC page.
All right, Mr. Doyle, I'm setting bail in the amount of $50,000 on each case, and I am granting the state's motion for magistrate's order for emergency protection. Have a seat, please. What is the name? I see the initials JV, but what are the names?
And Your Honor, the second MOAB has that.